We are so super excited to be in person. And we are so super excited to have the George Fox University players with us this morning. And they are going to give us a treat of their performance. And I don't know a whole lot about it, so I'm going to let them just do their thing. But I thought since we're here and we're together, that we could just take a minute to take some deep breaths and center in together and begin with a prayer. So let's just take a few moments to gather. God, our Creator, we thank you for hot coffee and smiling eyes behind masks and warm hugs and being together. Thank you that the George Fox players are here and that they are going to minister to us this morning with the gifts you've given them. We ask for just a wonderful time. Let us know that you are here with us and that you have a special word to speak to us, a message for our hearts this morning. Amen.
Just want to make sure that the Zoom folks can hear me.
Yes.
Yay! Names. Yeah. I'm Jonathan, he, him.
I'm Emma. I'm Madeline.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Gabrielle.
And we're the players.
We were almost eaten alive. All right, not really. Attacked. We were almost attacked. We were attacked. We were attacked. It is the year of 2010, a warm summer evening. The woods line the back of our side of the neighborhood. As a kid, having what I perceived as a forest for the backyard was the coolest. I will call it the neighborwoods. My brother and I are the ultimate backyardians. We have unfulfilled plans for tree houses, and we enjoy making our own trails throughout the shrubbery and trees, contriving bridges, obstacle courses. We take every opportunity to play back there, even after rainy days when it is brimming with marsh. In 2010, it is a relatively new neighborhood, a new house being built every day. Every other building seems to own an outdoor cat. As these new people move in with their pets and belongings, my family will take the chance to chat them up and get to know them. As the days go by, we increasingly notice there are greetings going from, "Hey, who are you?" to,
Have you seen my cat?
we see a gradual disappearance of each building's cat, one by one, including mine. Rip Whiskers. There is news of a cougar, a mountain lion, loose in the neighborwoods. The forest my brother and I happen to explore on the daily. But us, being the fearless duo that we are, have yet to run into a cougar. We think it is fine, and therefore keep exploring. One delightful evening, we are feeling extra adventurous and decide to travel further than we have before. As the hours pass, we begin freaking each other out with our wild imaginations.
The cougar could be anywhere.
It could pounce on us from behind any moment. You know, kid logic. We freak ourselves out to such an extreme that we turn back running, neglecting the way from which we had came. It is still light, but we notice the evening growing darker. Unable to find a motherless route to the house, I somehow dead end us on this higher patch of ground, surrounded by deep mud, impossible to walk through. My brother and I are out of breath.
Maybe we should go back and find the way we came.
Okay, but let's rest here for a second. I take large gulps from my water bottle and spit it out at the odd sound behind me. Something heavy has landed in the marsh near us.
It's the cougar.
Immediately, my 12-year-old heart rapidly speeds up, and I don't dare budge to turn around. Can you see it?
It's big and light brown. It's the tail. I can see the corner of it mostly.
Oh God, I pray, not swear. What do we do? My heart starts to freeze and my eyes fill with tears as I look at my brother. No way of defending him against the monster now rustling through the mud not 5 feet away. And I am scared. Stay calm.
I know.
Okay, well, I then decide to do what every person does in those miracle stories our pastor's always telling us about. I pray and ask forgiveness for every possible wrongdoing I could ever remember doing, and all movement behind me stills. Is it gone?
I think so.
Let's go. And we take off running through the trees, the mud, and the thicket. We make our way back to the house, and all the while I am praying that we aren't being followed. I'm sorry for stealing the last bag of chips when I knew my brother wanted them. I pray. I'm sorry for saying that one cuss word when I stubbed my foot earlier. I'm sorry for sticking my tongue out at that mean girl yesterday.
Sis! Sis!
What?
I'm thinking that wasn't a cougar.
What? What was it then?
It was a wolf.
Okay, well, that is an entirely logical reason for a small child to be terrified in the woods. There is one problem with this notion. Jonathan,
Yes.
there are no wolves around here. It was a wee coyote. It is not that coyotes are nothing to be afraid of. What I think about now, though, is that at that moment, that wasn't so scary. It wasn't as scary in reality. I think about how a lot of times I make things bigger and scarier than they need to be. Little do I know, I can make it through. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Or in this case, there's a light at the end of the neighborwoods.
We are the George Fox University players, and we have some stories we would like to share with you today. Our stories.
Real stuff from our lives, our journeys and experiences.
The places where God has shaped us into who we are and who we are becoming.
These are our stories. They are all true.
Today we will explore the theme, The Sun Will Rise. Stories where we wade through the night in anticipation for the morning.
We lose important relationships, feel distant from friends, family, and mentors, yet we maintain our sense of wonder.
We recognize that though the night may feel endless, the sun will always rise.
We won't necessarily be telling our own stories today.
I'll be telling hers.
And she'll be telling mine.
But in a sense, they're all our stories, and we would like to share them with you.
So we ask that you hold on, because the night isn't forever.
The sun will rise.
Down on me now,
Warm
this cold, cold heart of mine.
Troubles
come and troubles go. May I see light through tired eyes.
Part 1. Dusk.
People always say, be the light, and people will know that you are Christian. But I never saw anyone who was that light.
I don't really feel God or Jesus when I'm around people who I know to be Christian.
That was until I met Bobby.
Bobby was an amazing person and a fabulous actor. He and I worked together on A Christmas Carol in 2016.
He played the ghost of Christmas Present.
I only worked with him for the span of a few months, but he filled every room he walked in with love and joy.
He would tell everyone every day.
I appreciate you.
He filled this light and this presence whenever he entered a space.
And I always felt loved and welcome, even though I rarely interacted with him unless on stage.
He dealt with so much hardship and adversity, and yet was a light to everyone.
Bobby was an absolute blessing.
I just found out that he passed away suddenly.
I only knew him for a few months. I can't believe it.
As I was scrolling through Facebook, looking through memories of Bobby being shared, I saw that Bobby was a strong Christian and faith was very important to him.
I never knew he was a Christian. He never talked about his faith, but looking back on my memory of him, I felt it.
I felt and still feel God through Bobby.
Bobby touched my life in a way that no one else has.
There was something magical in the air in 2016. I am just starting my 8th grade year, and everyone, including teachers, custodians, and the desk ladies, are playing Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go is an app on your phone solely dedicated to catching and training Pokemon. Pokemon are little fictional creatures from a larger game series called Pokemon, where you can capture, train, and battle them. Pokemon Go, you can travel to destinations on your phone by walking around in the real world. It's truly the peak of technology. Which is so exciting for me in particular. I have loved and obsessed over Pokemon for years, and my friends are finally starting to share my love for these little pocket monsters. We beg our parents to drive us around town so that we can visit Pokestops and keeping our eyes open for any rare or powerful Pokemon. Pokemon Go's popularity peaked in the summer of 2016, so as I am beginning my 8th grade year, its popularity is slowly starting to decline. It is August, the awkward in-between of summer and fall. My friends and I are Pokemon Go fiends, so of course we continue to play. We sit at the back of the bus, keeping our eyes open for any rare Pokemon. Other kids are playing as well, shouting to the back of the bus,
Hey, there's a Pokestop up here.
"Get your phone out!" A bus full of angsty preteens, yet they laugh and celebrate because of a silly little Pokemon game. Arriving at school, we are very sad to see that our school doesn't have a Pokestop. Of course, our teachers are probably thrilled. We sit around a large circular table, barely speaking a word to each other in the lunchroom full of crowded preteens, all celebrating their first day. But soon, the clock hits 9:25, and we must retire to our first class. Until my friend Trevor starts booking it outside. Where are you going?
There's a Dragonite down here.
Dragonite is one of the most powerful Pokemon you can find, and are super hard to find. And very powerful, but they are insanely hard to catch. We dead end ourselves nearly out of the school zone, and his sprite appears on our phone, a chubby little orange dragon. We all pull out the big guns, feeding him berries, throwing Ultra Balls at him, hoping we'll catch this man. I hear one friend celebrate, yes! And another, and then another.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
But I keep missing. I throw an Ultra Ball at him, and he swats it away immediately. I throw another one, and he breaks out of it immediately. I feed him all my berries. That seems to change nothing. Soon I'm out of Ultra Balls, so I have to resort to just Great Balls, then just regular Pokeballs, and then I have nothing left. And I have to run away from the Dragonite. I was the only one who didn't catch him, and I've played Pokemon the longest. Walking back, listening to my friends discuss their successful catch feels like fingernails on a chalkboard. On the bus ride home, they continue talking about him, and in a blind fit of rage and frustration, delete Pokemon from my iPod. I'm sick of it. If I can't catch the dragon guy, then I don't want to play it anymore. Grudge I've held onto Pokemon Go has lasted ever since. Since then, all my friends have moved on, have deleted the app, and moved on with their lives. Of course, they have. They're adults. But not me. No, not me. Instead, I sit in my college dorm room, listening to my roommate, seething with rage as she shows me her Dragonite.
You should really get Pokemon Go. You would love it.
She tells me, unaware of my tragic past. I simply smile and say, "Oh, I don't think I have enough storage on my phone." It's silly to hate a silly little app with no real life consequences, but Pokemon meant so much to me, especially in middle school. Catching that Dragonite would have proved I was the Pokemon master. But I haven't forgotten it solely because I didn't catch him. Eventually, I would have moved on, deleted the app, and forgotten his power level and all my friends catching him. But instead, I was there on that sidewalk by my middle school, Dragonite-less, and my beta loser friends were all the masters, and I was there, feeling like the biggest disappointment in the world.
I am 12, and tomorrow is Thanksgiving, which is pretty cool. We're going to celebrate with the Alexanders, and I will get to see my crush, which is also pretty cool. Before me is the rec room. My younger brother Mark sits on a beat-up leather chair facing the TV, and I lean against the door frame with my arms crossed, and I am tired. I am tired of my brother Mark pretending to be in pain so he can get things like pudding. He's been at this for hours, it seems. And my parents believe him. I've seen him drop his act and start laughing. My parents won't listen to me as I share my meticulously gathered evidence exposing my 8-year-old brother's shameless deception. And here he is, laughing when he's doing something, but then crying when he's bored. And it's working. Am I jealous? Obviously not. That is insane. But it isn't fair. And I'm the only one who can see through it. My parents are fools. He laughs again, and I let out an exasperated sigh of frustration. A few minutes later, he is crying again. I can't believe he is complaining about how much it hurts and making himself cry and being so annoying and whiny. Stop pretending!
I'm not!
I'm really done now. I know he can stop whenever he wants to, but he's putting on a show, so I don't have any more evidence against him. Stop crying!
But it hurts!
You're making it up. I saw you smiling earlier. You're only 8. You don't even know what real pain is. I can't do this anymore. Mom!
What's wrong?
I get my mom to come with me downstairs, and she goes to him immediately. I follow her to Mark, waiting for her to let him have it and tell him to grow up.
How are you feeling?
How are you feeling? Are you kidding me? She's going to keep letting him get away with it? My mother is for some reason extremely concerned and actually believes him. Or maybe she's just pretending to draw him out. No, she legitimately believes him somehow. A few minutes later, we are off to the hospital. For some reason. It has been hours since then. He has appendicitis.
Finally, the car pulls up to our driveway. Sitting in the car for 9 to 10 hours is not my idea of fun, but it was worth it to drive all the way to Montana and back because we now have our very own new puppy.
Woof!
Getting out of the driver's seat, I smile at seeing my home. Moving around to the trunk, my father gets out of the passenger seat and Mom from the back. Mom brings out our new puppy, Magnus, an almost 4-month-old and 20-pound Newfoundland. He is so fluffy. Conversation flows over and through me like it is nothing. My dad and I go into the house to set up the kennel. Upon entering, my dad goes left to get to the kitchen and bathroom, while I go right to set up the kennel in the living room. Upon entering the living room, my heart plummets. Our eldest cat, Sergeant, is lying on the ground, not moving. I just stand there for a minute, unable to fully process what I am looking at. Father, I call out to him, unable to look at this. He comes and stands with me for a moment, and then goes out to switch with Mom, as Sergeant is more her cat than anything. I set down the kennel and move over to where Sergeant is lying on the floor, and see he is still breathing, just barely. I hear the door opening as my mother comes in asking,
What's wrong?
she thinks that I am hurt. I call her over, and her face shatters. We had all known he was sick. He is 12 years old, not eating, sleeping an abnormal amount even for a cat, and has lost far too much weight. I stand up to give my mom and him some space as she sits down, tears in her eyes. She starts to pet him, and suddenly there's this loud purr, his head moving just a little so that he can see her more clearly. I can hear her heart breaking as I go over to her phone to dial the emergency vet. The least we can do is send him off in as little pain as possible. I hear her talking to him, comforting him, telling him of the rainbow bridge in heaven, that there will be sunlit places to eat and sleep and endlessly flowing water to drink and play with. I struggled to keep my voice steady as I call the vet. She says that they can accept him so that they can put him down. I tell her we will be there in about 10 minutes. I have my mom get up so that she can go use the bathroom while I fetch a cardboard box and an old towel. I place the towel in the bottom of the box before transferring Sergeant into it. He is so cold. I look at our new puppy Magnus, tongue hanging out of his mouth, so excited to be playing and to be out of the car in the sun. And then I look at our old cat, his side just barely moving up and down, eyes fixed on my mom. It is so weird to have to be an adult and to compartmentalize. We both get into the car, knowing that when we return, Sergeant will not be with us. We still miss him to this day. Sometimes when I see our puppy, I am reminded of Sergeant, and I feel the sadness from that day. But it is no longer overwhelming, and I have learned that every reason for grief is valid. Just because Sergeant was a pet and not a human does not mean that I cannot still be affected by his death a year later. It does not mean that I cannot still miss him. But it also does not mean that I can't enjoy making new memories with our puppy, out in the sun and in the same house where Sergeant used to roam. I can feel it all, and that can be okay.
I sit down in the front row, wanting so badly to be here, but also wanting to go home and rest.
I've been working so much lately.
I'm exhausted.
Every week, I've requested Sunday morning off for work.
Every week, they have denied it.
But today, for the first time in a long time, I'm here.
And I don't know what it is about the songs, but something is different.
Could it be because I haven't been in so long that I forgot what it meant to be with others?
The song The Lion and the Lamb comes on, and I begin to weep.
I can feel God for the first time in a long while.
I had been subsisting off the faith of my parents and the few signs I had identified as God.
But in this moment, I can feel the toxicity that had been creeping in disappear as if it were never there.
They say wherever two or more are gathered, their God will also be.
I can feel it in this moment.
I can feel God's arms around me and encouraging me to lift my hands to the sky. Lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky.
Part 2, Midnight.
I was 5. Placed in front of me is a sheet of coloring paper, an acorn-holding squirrel taking up the page. Naturally, I'm excited. Here, placed in front of my very nose, is something every kindergartner enjoys. Unlike the recent handwriting number sheets we've been given. Without hesitation, I grab my crayons and pull out a brand new, unused gray crayon. This is the first time I can feel the creativity stimulate me. I'm in the zone, and nothing can be heard from within the zone. Every ounce of my concentration is on this little gray squirrel. To top it off, I think it'd be cute to give the little guy a red nose. When I finish sitting up with this new profound boost of pride, I glance around at everyone else's Crayola masterpieces. They are all the same. Brown, black noses, mostly sloppily colored in over the lines. I'm confused, but still proud of my museum-worthy piece. Why are they all the same? At a snail's pace, my teacher makes her way through the desks of my peers. Everyone is oddly compliant, quiet, concentrated. As I see my teacher approach, eyes gleaming with anticipation, if she's praising the work of those who scribbled over theirs in 5 minutes, surely she'll adore mine. As she approaches, I see others still working on theirs, so I bend down and pretend to refine it more along the edges, desperate to receive the same praise she's given others.
What are you doing?
I hear her uncertain voice over my shoulder. What does it look like I'm doing? Coloring?
Emma, why didn't you follow directions?
Directions?
Were you not listening?
I don't respond. I'm confused. Usually when we color, we can color however we want. I don't remember. She places her clipboard atop my work and addresses the class.
Class, Emma has colored her drawing in gray and red.
Oh.
Is that what we were supposed to do?
No!
Upon seeing all their eyes on me, I look down with both shame and embarrassment.
Would someone like to tell Emma what we were supposed to do?
Color it brown.
With the black nose.
What suck-ups?
That is correct.
I can feel her eyes on me, but for the life of me, I can't look up. She kneels by my desk.
Hello? Eyes on me, please. You don't have to do this again. Just listen to directions next time.
I was 5. I am now a lot older than 5. And I wonder who would I have been if I had any awareness of the instructions given. I would have followed them, but this would have meant the absence of a little red-nosed gray squirrel in the world. This little girl wound up ashamed of her creativity, but I am proud of her, and I am proud of the acorn-holding squirrel that chose gray with a red nose.
I'm beginning my junior year, and I'm recovering from the worst breakup of my life. Not just because it's my first and only breakup, but because I am dumped over voicemail. So, in a natural breakup style, I am lonely and desperate for a distraction. As I listen to my cheerful teacher, Mrs. Sheldrup, announce the upcoming football game, I see a post on Instagram. The gal posting it is someone I know through my art class, and the girl in the photo is someone I've only heard stories about. Scary stories, that is. Her name is Jess. She's a short girl with blue square glasses and long blonde hair. She looks like she's nearly 12 years old, but I know she's only a year behind me. Remembering said scary stories, I pull up a new message on Instagram and message her immediately. Something along the lines of, "Hey, remember when you dated that guy? Yeah, well, he sucks. And he always said you sucked, and I'm thinking he was wrong now, so I actually want to hang out with you sometime because you actually seem cool." I said it better in the message, I swear. To my surprise, she reads it immediately. I set my phone down quickly in a panic and focus my gaze toward Mrs. Sheldrup, pretending to be interested in whatever it is she is talking about and nodding my head at random. Bell rings, and I leave for my next class, still scared to check my phone. Finally, in my last class, I pull up the message to see a long paragraph response. Not only did she want to meet up, she had been wanting to reach out to me as well. She just was too anxious to ever initiate anything. And I knew we'd get along right away. It's December, and my family takes our yearly trip to Seattle for Christmas shopping. My oldest sister, Sophia, is stuck in Oregon for another week or so I'm allowed to invite a friend as a replacement for her. Of course, I invite Jess. She already could pass as my younger sister. My father hands us $100 each.
This is for a fun game your mom and I came up with. Each of you will find an ornament, and whoever finds the best ornament will
Get to pick where we eat for dinner.
I look toward Jess excitedly, but she studies the $100 bill as though she's terrified she'll drop it and it will shatter.
I can keep this and spend it?
She sounds bewildered, almost as if she's just won $1 million. I blink in confusion, the wire's not yet clicking for me. Arriving at the large shopping mall, I grab Jess by the hand to adventure around local shops and browse for exciting ornaments. Should I get a really pretty one or a really silly one? I graze the surface of beautiful ornaments, getting a look at every single one to make sure it is really the one.
You can do whatever you want, but I want a pretty one.
Lame. You should get a goofy one. Like this.
No.
It's the leg lamp from A Christmas Story. Oh, I'm in love with this one. I gently remove a squirrel from the display tree. It is goofy looking, incredibly scratchy, and its eyes are lopsided, and it's perfect.
It's perfect.
She studies it and agrees. We return to my parents displaying our finds proudly. Her with her gorgeous circular light pink ornament, and me with my dopey squirrel. I have always hated taking down the Christmas tree. I would leave it up all year if my mom let me, but alas, it is now the middle of January and it has to go away until November. It's 2020 now, and Jess has been hanging out with this new boy and won't stop talking about him. My mother instincts kick in immediately, knowing this guy is bad news, but she won't listen. Taking ornaments off of the tree, I remove my dopey squirrel ornament and shove it underneath layers and layers of other Christmas decorations and shove it far in the garage. Jess has been frustrating lately. She keeps making worse and worse decisions, and I have to be the one to tell her to stop. No, Jess, it is not a good idea to drink alcohol while on your anxiety meds. No, Jess, it is not a smart decision to smoke weed at that boy's basement at 4 a.m. Jess, I think you should start going to your classes instead of mine. I am sick of being her mother. Can you please stop hanging out with Matt? He's a terrible influence on you.
You're just saying that because you're jealous. You think he's taking me away from you.
That sparks a flash of anger in my belly. No, I hate him because he's a lazy idiot who's turning you into a lazy idiot. You have been drinking constantly and have been really awful to everyone ever since you became friends with him.
Oh my God. You know, sometimes you're really annoying.
I've been called annoying before, but it's never hurt quite as much as this time. I think we should stop being friends for a while. I recognize that this isn't a healthy relationship, and we are both suffering because of it. So I create some space, just temporarily. Later, we could come back together and reevaluate how to best support each other, but right now I'm hurt, and I need some time. It's December, and I don't even put up the dumb squirrel this year. I let it rot in the Christmas bucket, along with other broken and old ornaments we didn't bother to put on the tree. A layer of dust sits atop it, its stupid eyes full of dents and cracks. It has been a week since my birthday, and being 18 is the best thing ever. I'm an adult now. People take me seriously, and I can buy lottery tickets now, I think. The clock on my laptop reads about 8 p.m., which I have ingrained in my head as my designated workout time. I change it to some shorts and go out to the living room to tell my dad I'm going downstairs to bike. I don't even make it all the way downstairs before I receive a call. Julie, weird time to be calling. What's up? You all right?
Gabrielle, have you heard about Jess?
No. Why? What's wrong?
She overdosed. She passed away last night. She's gone.
Oh. I thank her for calling. Ask her if she's all right again, and then hang up. I scream. I scream as loud and as hard as I can. I scream and let out years of heartache and pain. I scream until my dad yells down at me and asks,
What's wrong?
but I keep screaming. I fall to the ground next to the bike and bury my head in my knees, lost in a daze. My sobs are muffled by my knees, and my screams are broken by the hiccups I take for air. Jess has died. He talks to me about death or just being a good friend. I don't really know. And I don't really care. It's all drowned out for me. All I can hear is her voice. The way she says my name when she's trying to get my attention. Her yell when I steal food from her fridge. Her laugh when I lay on her floor and read her The Plot of the Odd Couple. All I hear is her. I want to hear Jess again. I want to hold that stupid squirrel and hear her laugh at it one last time. Christmas is coming up, and I'm not ready to see that squirrel again. Because all I will see is her. I know I will hold that squirrel and say, I am sorry. I'm sorry I let you go down that path, Jess. I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you. I'm sorry I didn't say I love you. I'm sorry I didn't say anything sooner. I was supposed to be your sister, but instead, I became a stranger and let you crash and burn. And now we'll never get to search for silly ornaments ever again. You're my last happy memory I have with you. I'm sorry this was it. And I'll hold that squirrel close to my heart. And I'll pretend I'm holding Jess in a big embrace.
Give me peace through my pain and suffering. Be a constant fire that draws me higher. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me.
Part 3. Dawn.
I cross a wooden bridge, glancing over to my right at the barren field of dead blackberry bushes.
My gaze moves on to a glen of birch trees beyond the bridge, and although it is not along my way back, I feel an invisible tug towards it, and so I desert my path. The grass is wilder here, longer, softer beneath my feet. I am drawn to a hollow overshadowed by some blackberries that yet live.
I feel the breeze pierce through my clothing in this shade as I sit down.
I feel the dappled light that fights its way through the gaps in the blackberry bushes.
I close my eyes.
There is a sudden silence.
There is tranquility.
The world holds still.
I say out loud.
I have been gone for a long time. It's nice to be back.
The silence is broken.
The wind blows.
I open my eyes, feeling present, feeling presence.
The birds sing as I speak to the world.
I do not need to converse. It is enough to be here and to feel the love and goodness swirl around me.
They reassure me that I'll be able to keep going.
That my life is my own, and what weighs on my mind will be resolved.
And most importantly, they reassure me that though I may not feel them as I re-enter the manufactured world, I can always come back to nature.
Not once did my elder two cousins take note of their youngest cousin's motionless figure sitting atop the bed. Jake sits in one of those office chairs, and Anthony leans against the desk. They're probably discussing video games and their girlfriends. I almost hate them. Here we are, two helpless children, nearly bored to death. As my bored and youthful self peers around my boring cousin's boring room, I notice a long rectangular trap door in the ceiling above his bed. What's that?
The attic.
No, Jake, the roof. Yeah, that. Can we go up there?
I can.
How? He approaches the ladder, and with a cautious pull, the door swings down, revealing a foldable ladder and the darkness from within the entrance. Nothing inside is distinguishable. At last, a cure for our boredom. So can we go in? He shuts the trap door and shakes his head. The eagerness I had felt rising in my chest instantly sinks into my belly with heavy disappointment. Why not?
Well, you see, it's dangerous. We're not allowed up there.
How is it dangerous?
Yeah, how?
My little brother pipes up.
Because
Because there's no gravity.
Like in space?
exactly.
Oh,
There's actually a portal up there. We
Mhm.
went to the moon.
Yeah.
whoa.
They describe this realm in great detail, and all the while I'm imagining myself in space, amongst the stars, no gravity, floating. I could be an astronaut. I contain my wandering imagination with more questions. So, why can't we go in again?
You're too young.
Space license.
Mm-hmm.
Jake shoves the evidence in my little brother's face, and I steal a quick glance. His driver's license, no doubt. Naturally, I obsess, constantly thinking about my cousin's spaceship for weeks. And it isn't until our mom catches us discussing the astronomical attic over lunch that it all comes to a halt.
No, no, no. No. They lied.
I can't believe it. The disappointment I feel later burns the entire evening with plotting, attempting to figure out how I would approach them the next day, what I would say, what I would do. They had created something amazing roaming around inside my head and then abandoned it as a mere figment of my imagination. They left it there to rot, thinking I would forget. But little did they know, it has been getting bigger and bigger ever since that fateful day. It doesn't bother me that they were messing with us. Nope, that never came to mind. I believed every word they said. That's what bothers me. They must have gotten such a kick out of that. The next day, I march up those marble stairs. My brother, my sidekick, at my side. Jake is not here today, but with determination, I stop Anthony right in his tracks. Anthony?
Yes? Yes? Olivia?
You told us there was space in your attic.
Yes. I did.
Well, I want to know if it was a lie.
Yeah.
And with an accusing finger and my best mom voice, I shake my finger at him with every syllable. And we want to know the truth, and nothing but the truth.
Gosh, Olivia, you're so right. There really is no way to get to space from my attic.
Oh.
I lied. I'm sorry.
And with that, he simply walks off. And I don't know how I feel. It wasn't the response I expected, nor the one I wanted. And he seemed sincere. I stand there for a moment or two. What did I expect? An argument? More persuasion? I suppose a part of me wanted him to say, "No, I wasn't lying. Come with me, I'll show you." I wanted to see it. I wanted to float, to visit outer space. What a jerk.
Who knows? Maybe there really was space in his attic, and he was just in a hurry. He said that to save the argument.
My brother jokes many years later upon remembering it. All right, maybe. Maybe there is. And maybe there is a magical wardrobe that will take you to a foreign land where you're greeted by talking animals. Maybe there is such a land where you never grow up. Maybe reindeer can fly. Maybe you can fit a giant room, a spaceship, in a small blue box. And that's when I realized I'm glad I was told that there was space, stars in an old attic. Because that very thought left space in the back of that 7-year-old's mind. Space for creativity, imagination, stories, people, and foreign lands untold. We are embarrassed the moment we realize that our imagination is getting carried away. And my imagination carried me. But then that's when I realized that maybe, just maybe, believing in the impossible is worth the risk of embarrassment, of disappointment. Our imagination is part of who we are.
"1:30 in the morning on October 8th, 2017, I am awoken by the sound of the phone ringing. It is never a good thing when the phone rings this late at night because the only time anyone is calling this late is when there's been a death in the family or some other emergency. My mom, dad, and I hop out of bed and my mom answers the phone. It is our neighbor saying something about a fire near where my grandfather lives and that we should make sure he's okay. A house fire. When I was younger, my next-door neighbor's house caught on fire. It was quickly contained with no casualties and not much damage. That is what I'm imagining. The phone call is so unusual and so strange that we don't know what to make of it. We try calling my grandfather, but there's no answer. Then we start getting calls from other people saying that there is a fire in that area and that people are evacuating. Evacuating? That's not a word I ever associated with house fires or Santa Rosa. Slowly, we start to realize that this is a bit of a bigger thing than just a simple house fire. When we go outside, we can smell the smoke. We can see the ash falling. We can hear the explosion of transformers in the distance. My mom and dad go back to bed, but I cannot sleep. I am in bed, going through my statistics textbook, studying for a test I have later today. My friends keep texting me saying,
Are you okay?
Are you leaving?
Did you evacuate?
and I keep saying, no, we're fine. Are you? It is a weird time. At 4:30 in the morning, I am still awake. I go out to the dining room and look out our window. Our dining room window overlooks a beautiful vineyard, and then in the distance, you can see the hills of Santa Rosa. I can see flame. The sky is red, and for the first time in my life, I feel actual fear. I feel this cold, hot sensation. I want to run, hide, fight, but all I can do is stand here, staring out this window. This is when I wake up my parents and say, guys, I think this is a bit more serious than a house fire. We realized that the fire from Napa County has gotten over the freeway, over the hills, and into neighborhoods, Santa Rosa neighborhoods. We wake up my sister and explain what is going on, and we get ready to evacuate. We get ready to evacuate our home. My sister gets the animals ready. My dad is trying to get a hold of people. I start to pack things in a sort of daze. As I stand here in my room, looking at all my belongings, I realize how temporary everything is. I pack my grandmother's jewelry box and some clothes and a book or two, but that is it. Everything else in the moment I realize I can replace. As long as I have my family and my cat, nothing else matters. Standing on the doorstep, looking at the bright orange sky, I watch cars travel on a normally quiet road as if they are on a freeway. Cars and horse trailers going both directions. And I am thinking that when the sun comes up, everything will be okay. There's something about the darkness that makes everything feel scarier. And in my mind, if I can just make it to the next morning, everything will be fine. A lot of people I talked to that week think the same thing. That every night, no matter how dark, will end, and that the sun will rise, and this night will end too. And if you can just make it to the morning, it'll be okay. The fire does not catch the memo. The sun comes up, the fire is still there, and 5,543 homes and buildings are burnt to the ground over the course of a few days. Luckily, our house is not among them, but in about a month, we are allowed to see what remains of my grandfather's home. I don't know how to explain to you what it looks like. You know war movies? Like when they show a town after a bombing? To see this place that I grew up in, that I spent so many hours at, I can still picture the trees and the American flag that always waved in front of the house and the hedge outside. I can see every wall and picture. Now there is nothing, just ash and rubble. I look at my grandfather, who was overwhelmed with grief. We had lost my grandmother earlier that year. We never got the chance to scatter her ashes. Now that's all that's left. Dust and ashes. No scattering of ashes ceremony. No need to decide what to do with the ashes. The fire decided that for us. He looks so small, standing, not moving, just standing, staring at the desolation of his home. My father and I start to sift through the remains to see if we can find anything. Where do you even start? With every step, I am ankle deep in ash, and there is a chance that we might step on something that survived. Nothing survived. Not really. Some bits of plates, broken pottery. I walk past what was once the dining room and walk down what used to be the hallway to the back bedrooms and into the guest bedroom where my sister and I used to sleep when we had sleepovers at Grandma and Grandpa's house. All I can see for miles is absolute destruction. But then I have this thought. You know, those thoughts. That small glimmer of hope. The what if there was this ceramic quail that my grandparents had had forever. I used to play with it all the time growing up. It lived as the doorstop to the guest bedroom. So I walk over to where the door used to be, kneel down, reach my hands into the ash, and I can feel something. My heart begins to race as my hand closes around something hard, and I bring out the ceramic quail. My heart is so filled with joy for the first time since the fires started, holding this little piece of Grandpa's home, this little piece of hope. But there were two of them, you see. So I kneel back down. I once again reach into the ash, and I pull out the second ceramic quail. These two quail are the only things that survive from the house itself. They help remind me that there is always hope, and that every night, no matter how dark, will end, and the sun will rise.
My eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky. I will lift up my eyes to the sky, to the sky.
I used to hate praying.
But
It
now-
stressed me out.
But now, I love it.
I talk with God every moment I can.
I ask questions, I share my concerns, I pray for peace and love, and I pray others will find peace and love as well.
I pray for each family member, each friend, each animal, every stranger I see crossing the street, and every blade of grass I lay on.
Because they're all made in God's image.
God is always there, whether I see a response or not.
It may not be the response I want, but I do get one.
My true encounter with God isn't some big life-changing moment.
It's every day.
It's the walks to my morning lectures.
It's the drive home for my D&D sessions.
A good meal with family.
A long laugh with friends.
And this moment right now.
The moment where I'm writing this.
And the moment where I'm sharing this.
I'm with God always.
And God will always be there.
And always love me.
And accept me.
And guide me when I'm lost. When the flowers bloom, I'm given hope that life can be beautiful.
When I see a cat or a squirrel, I'm reminded that there is good.
And when I feel the rain on my skin, or when I am with my friends and we are laughing, I am reminded that I am loved.
And I think of how hard it's been and how far I have come.
And some days it all just seems so dark.
I try to remind myself that I am enough, and I will make it.
I just have to do the next best thing.
Take it 1 second at a time.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
The night is not forever.
The sun will rise.
Burn up the despair that's been sinking me. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me. Burn up the despair that's been sinking me.
Thank you.
Thank you.